गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। ॐ श्रीकृष्ण परमात्मने नमः। अष्टादशोऽध्यायः मोक्षसंन्यासयोगः। श्रीभगवानुवाच यया स्वप्नं भयं शोकं विषादं मदमेव च न विमुञ्चति दुर्मेधा धृतिः सा पार्थ तामसी। सुखं त्विदानीं त्रिविधं शृणु मे भरतर्षभ। अभ्यासाद्रमते यत्र दुःखान्तं च निगच्छति यत्तदग्रे विषमिव परिणामे मृतोपमम्। तत्सुखं सात्विकं प्रोक्तम् आत्मबुद्धिः प्रसादजम् विषयेन्द्रियसंयोगाद्यत्तदग्रे मृतोपमम् परिणामे विषमिव तत्सुखं राजसंस्मृतम्। यदग्रे चानुबन्धे च सुखं मोहनमात्मनः निद्रालस्य प्रमादोत्थं तत्तामसमुदाहृतम्। न तदस्ति पृथिव्यां वा दिवि देवेषु वा पुनः सत्वं प्रकृतिजैर्मुक्तं यदेभिः स्यात् त्रिभिर्गुणैः ब्राह्मणक्षत्रियविशां शूद्राणां च परन्तपा कर्माणि प्रविभक्तानि स्वभावप्रभवैर्गुणैः शमोदमस्तपः शौचं क्षान्तिरार्जवमेव च ज्ञानं विज्ञानमास्तिक्यं ब्रह्मकर्म स्वभावजं शौर्यं तेजो धृतिर्दाक्ष्यं युद्धे चाप्यपलायनं दानमीश्वरभावश्च क्षात्रं कर्म स्वभावजं कृषिर्गौरक्ष्यवाणिज्यं वैश्यकर्म स्वभावजं परिचर्यात्मकं कर्म शूद्रस्यापि स्वभावजं स्वे स्वे कर्मण्यभिरतः संसिद्धिं लभते नरः स्वकर्मनिरतः सिद्धिं यथा विन्दति तच्छृणु यत्तः प्रवृत्तिर्भूतानां येन सर्वमिदं ततं स्वकर्मणा तमभ्यर्च्य सिद्धिं विन्दति मानवः। श्रेयान् स्वधर्मो विगुणः परधर्मोत्स्वनुष्ठितात् स्वभावनियतं कर्म कुर्वन्नाप्नोति किल्बिषम् सहजं कर्म कौन्तेय सदोषमपि न त्यजेत् सर्वारम्भा हि दोषेण धूमेनाग्निरिवावृताः असक्तबुद्धि सर्वत्र जितात्मा विगतस्पृहः नैष्कर्म्यसिद्धिं परमां सन्न्यासेनाधिगच्छति सिद्धिं प्राप्तो यथा ब्रह्म तथाप्नोति निबोध मे समासेनैव कौन्तेय निष्ठा ज्ञानस्य या परा। ॐ तत्सत् सर्वं श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु। So yesterday Mrinalji had completed the verse 43 and the Manana was remaining. So I will just quickly browse through the 43rd verse. It is about the Rajasa, the guna of the Kshatriya, which we have to remember. शौर्यं तेजो धृतिर्दाक्ष्यं युद्धे चाप्यपलायनं दानमीश्वरभावस्य क्षात्रं कर्म स्वभावजम् valor, self-confidence, resolve, adroitness, not running from conflict, giving, and overlordship, leadership are the naturally born duties and disposition of a Kshatriya. So we have to remember Shauryam, Tejas, Dhritihi, Dakshyam, Yuddhe chapi apalayanam, Danam, Ishvara Bhavaha Swabhavajam. That is the Kshatriya karma. Uh, we should do Manana or we can, I will just read once quickly the text. Kindly guide me. Repeat or we can just quickly have Manana. Okay, Dr. Ren suggested, please read the text. Okay. The duties and disposition of a Kshatriya. A person who has Shaurya is highly skilled and brave in warfare or any dangerous situation. When it is called for, he will exhibit heroism. Shankara takes Tejas as the brilliance born of self-confidence and Dhriti as sustained enthusiasm. This is a person who is resolute in all situations, which are not very pleasant, which are even sometimes very inimical. Because of his resolve, he does not get depressed or easily frightened, and his enthusiasm does not get dampened. Then again, he is a person who does not postpone, but does what is to be done at the right time and is even ready for a surprise. If a situation suddenly arises, which was not expected at all, he could regroup his resources, entirely change his plan, and then face the situation without being confused. In the battlefield, this happens all the time, and life itself is a battlefield. Some people can only operate when they have a plan and everything happens according to that plan. If the plan is changed, they get completely unnerved and are incapable of facing the new situation. Unless they are able to control the situation, they panic and cannot function because of a deep rooted fear and insecurity. The readiness to change, completely reshuffle your ideas, marshal your resources, and face the situations as they arrive is what we call Dakshya. I repeat, very beautiful line. The readiness to change, completely reshuffle your ideas, marshal your resources, and face the situations as they arrive is what we call Dakshya. This is the capacity to face a situation, however unfamiliar it is, however threatening it is, and just do what is to be done. Sometimes you have to retreat. You may lose the battle, but still you win the war. Another duty or disposition of a Kshatriya is not running away in a situation where he has to fight it out. Yuddhe apalayanam. Because he is a Kshatriya, a soldier who is supposed to defend Dharma, or a ruler who has to wield the sceptre of justice, who has to wield the scepter of justice. Kindly correct if my pronunciation is wrong. A soldier who is supposed to defend Dharma, or a ruler who has to wield the sceptre of justice. He should not run away. Shankara characterizes it as not showing his back. This is a very important thing in a battle. In Rajasthan, the Rajput women who receive the wounded soldiers from the battlefield first see whether the wound is in the back or front. If it is in the front, he will be received at home. If it is at the back, he will be sent away. Not retreating from any conflict is a very important thing for a Kshatriya. Giving dana is also very important. Shankara gives a beautiful description of dana here. He defines it as deya dravyeshu mukta hastatah. The nature of having a free hand with reference to things that are to be given. In general, dana means giving. But as we have seen, there are a number of factors involved. Giving implies certain things that are to be given, the appropriate time and place for it, and the people who deserve to receive from you. When you give in these situations, your hands should not be tied. You give with a free hand, no strings attached. Because you are not tied down by any kind of consideration, you can be reckless. This is dana. If you are always worried about what will happen, it is impossible to give in this way. You have to be a little bit reckless, though not totally reckless, because then you will have to beg for yourself. But a certain degree of recklessness is necessary when somebody has to part with something. And that recklessness is called by Shankara free-handedness, mukta hastatah. Mukta hastata. Hastat. Hastata. Rama. Hastata. Okay. Panchami. A Kshatriya is a natural leader and thus has a swabhavaja, natural overlordship, which Shankara says is making his ruling power evident to those who are to be governed. As a ruler, he has to make it clear that he is in charge and see to it that his intentions are understood. The duty of a Kshatriya is definitely to govern, and if he is a Kshatriya by guna, this is very natural to him. When Rajas is predominant and Sattva is second, it would be his natural tendency to rule. Because he has Sattva, he will not be self centered, but will have a community ego or an ideological ego.
Vilaji, your voice is not clear. Is it for me only?
Is it?
No,
I don't.
it's
It is clear. It
it's
is
clear.
clear.
Okay, should I repeat, Sarlaji? I will repeat once again.
Okay, please, please. I will
Yeah,
use the earphone. You please continue.
yeah. Thank you. A Kshatriya is a natural leader and thus has a Swabhavaja, natural overlordship, which Shankara says is making his ruling power evident to those who are to be governed. As a ruler, he has to make it clear that he is in charge and see to it that his intentions are understood. The duty of a Kshatriya is definitely to govern, and if he is a Kshatriya by guna, this is very natural to him. When Rajas is predominant and Sattva is second, it would be his natural tendency to rule. Because he has Sattva, he will not be self centered, but will have a community ego or an ideological ego. He will be ready to sacrifice his family and his own comforts to fulfill that ideology. Any idealist is a Kshatriya if he acts upon his ideology. The problem is he does not see beyond the ideal, but thinks that it is everything. There is nobility in his thinking because of sattva, but it is not complete because of the presence of rajas. This is the nature of a kshatriya from the standpoint of guna, and that can evolve. But from the standpoint of duties, there is definitely enjoined duty, vihita karma for a kshatriya. Being born in a particular family, you know exactly what is to be done. It becomes very visible. Even when you are young, and therefore you do not have the problem of competition or aggressiveness. It is an entirely different disposition wherein you do what is to be done and grow to be a Brahmana or a Kshatriya by Guna. That is an excellent system for inner growth. The structure which made this possible is not available now. So we have to edit the meaning of these verses properly and understand the spirit of it. What is to be done in a given situation, I do, and do it as yoga. Bhagwan will talk about this later. First, he talks about the duties and later about the usefulness of those duties. So very beautifully, Swamiji has analyzed each and every component of the disposition of Kshatriya. So very beautifully yesterday Mrinalji had shared her own example. It is so very beautiful that it It is the dakshata, when you accept the situation as it is and take the leadership and go ahead with the given plan, and you do what is to be done at the right time with that dhriti and utsaha. So that is shown here as a tejas, which has born out of the self confidence, and they are born leaders. So there is no competitiveness like a rat race. They know that they have to do what is to be done. They have yuddhe apalayanam. They never show their back when there is a when there is a war type situation, or maybe there is a situation where they have to take the side of dharma. They will always be brave. And about the dana also, very beautifully it is mentioned that they are having a free hand for giving the things that are to be given. And totally, uh, you have to give that mukta hastata, means you don't have to feel bad that, oh, what will happen to me if I give away these all things or whatever is to be given. So they have that, that is their Sahaj vritti. They give the dana if it is to be given to the right person at the right time in the right situation. And they are born leader, they are natural leaders because of their sattva predominance. They have the they know their duties as dharmic person. They know that what is to be done. So that is very, very beautifully it is explained by Swamiji about the predominance of rajas, and second is sattva. So how we can make use of this aspect of kshatriya disposition into our day-to-day life? Very well explained, the usefulness of the kshatriya disposition. Kindly share your understanding, and if you want me to repeat anything, just let me know.
Because of the rajas, they are leaders. With the sattvic buddhi they have, they will not turn back from the situation where it is uncomfortable. They will do whatever is required in that situation. That sattva and rajas are balanced in them. So, using both gunas, they are doing their duties, and confidence is a major um, what guna in them. Leadership with confidence, so they can face any situation.
Yeah, so very beautiful. Yeah. The important point here, they are not self-centered. So very nice. They have the community welfare in mind. So most of the Sattvic leaders, what we see, they are all having this natural tendency to lead the community.
I think they are more Rajasic leaders in the true sense. In the sense, they of course have the Sattva Guna second name, which is why they are not self-centered. But according to what Bhagwan has described, they're true Rajasic leaders. They are not self-centered. If tamas gets in, then they become self-centered and selfish. But because they have the Sattva backing them, Rajas is predominant, they're able to do what they're doing. leading all the way with that dhriti, dakshyam, whether it is in their comfort zone or outside of their comfort zone. They still show the same resolve, the valor, courage to take things forward. So if Rajas is backed by Sattva, this is how. Those, I think, are the ones that you have said, Sattvic leaders. But it is actually Rajas predominant, followed by Sattva.
Here the self means oneself, not the Atma.
Yeah, that is
Self-centered.
understood. That is understood.
No, immediately, it confused. Not self-centered means.
Not being selfish, not being, what about me is not the question. They are there to serve, yeah.
But when there is a tamas guna, some crop up, then will they become self-centered or greedy or
That's what
something?
we'll see. I think he's going to explain all that later. I think we'll continue reading and we'll be able to understand. Because Rajas can be backed by tamas or sattva. Depends which is predominant.
Because from rajas and sattvika, if they goes down, then it will become a tamas vrutti, no? And from sattva to tamas is not possible, but from rajas to tamasa is possible, isn't it?
Correct.
Means rajasic people can go to the tamas, but sattvic people will not go to the directly to the tamas.
Yeah. Yes, Brahmaraji, you corrected my. They are Rajasic leaders. Their Rajasa is predominant and Sattva is secondary. And Dr. Renu has beautifully said, what needs to be done, they do it as yoga. Yeah. Yes.
See, that is why that story with Shivaji and his teacher, he says out of dejection, Shivaji wants to leave the kingdom and leave the kingdom and relinquish his duties. So he says, I want to give it off to you. He says, the teacher takes it. Teacher is a rishi, right? So he says, okay, now from now on, the kingdom is mine. And now I am giving you the reins. My order is for you to sit on the throne and rule the country and rule the kingdom.
Yeah, and you are working under me so that the burden of doership also is gone from
gone.
Shivaji.
Yeah. That is true. But he being totally into sattva, he wanted to, of course, let Shivaji rule the kingdom. Shivaji is the one who had all that, the Kshatriya qualities.
No, what is that is, he was thinking that he is doing it and he wanted to relinquish it.
No,
So
but it's
Guruji,
true. I know. The context
Ramdas
is different.
ji,
Context is different.
he
But what
made
I'm
it to
saying is,
understand that we are
Ramdas is
doing it for
totally
me.
sattvic. Correct. The context may be different, but what I'm saying is, Ramdas ji is a completely sattvic person. So for him to rule the country versus Shivaji ruling the country is a big difference.
Yeah, it is just my small concern. Like when Harishchandraji was totally Sattvic king and he lost everything. So I think here it is mentioned so well that Rajasic people, do they suffer their personal life because they have only the community welfare in mind and they focus more on the Sangha Tattva, Sangha Chatva.
I think,
So,
no. I think, see, there in the Dana it mentioned, you give recklessly, but not so recklessly that you have to beg yourself. So it is with that little balance that I think needs to be done.
Yeah, Vivek Buddhi also.
Yeah,
Correct.
and Gurudev always talks of work-life balance, seva and home. How much seva? How much should I take care of the home front? In fact, it's a very subtle difference, but those that require you to go out and do seva and all that, you balance it out. I think balance is the key here. Here we will have to see Harishchandra, Satya
That is what is
Harishchandra and all.
moderation. Guruji
They
says
belong.
moderation.
They belong to a different yuga, and it was a different
Yeah,
time zone then.
correct.
He what he felt was right. But if you translate all that now, which is why that dharma being categorical, you'll have to adopt it to the current situation.
Yeah,
Do
Kala.
as
Yeah,
much as that's what even Gurudev says. Seva is not something you're expected to do out of your capacity. Based on your capacity to do. He says very clearly, as you're not a doctor, you're not expected to treat patients. So you know what you can do, and do as much as you can do it well with that, with the seva.
yeah, beautiful.
And moderation in everything. That is what Guruji says also.
Yeah, very wonderful. So that was about the Kshatriya disposition. And we have to remember the Sattva disposition and Kshatriya disposition, and now the Vaishya. I think after we finish Vaishya, we can have a long Manana where we can accommodate all three dispositions and talk.
Yeah. By the way, I just sorry for the interruption, but Nana said if we have enough questions, at least about 10 questions, he will come on. So this Saturday, tomorrow, he will not be there. So following Saturday, provided we have a bunch of questions in the question bank, then he will be there. Just wanted to let you know. So if any one of you can take the lead and create this question bank from all the questions that are being put in the chat, I would need one of you to come forward to do that. If anyone can do that,
I can do.
be wonderful.
I can
Yeah?
do, Pramada. Yeah, I
Okay.
will do.
All right. Thank you.
Those who have questions, either you can put them on group. I will just summarize them, and next Saturday I'll keep it ready for our Nanaji. Now
I
we
think,
will see.
sorry, Bella,
Yeah.
there were some questions already asked in the previous few
Yeah.
Manana classes that were there in the chat. If you can
Yeah.
scroll the chat down, you can copy paste that in the
Yeah, that day I had done that, and I had put them on the group also. So once again, I will cut and paste, and then I will summarize.
Fine.
They were put on the group for Nanaji.
Yeah, you can put it in Microsoft Word, and I'll talk to you outside of this.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
talk.
Okay, Brahmarai. Yeah, sure. Now we will see the duties and disposition of a Vaishya. कृषिगौरक्ष वाणिज्यं वैश्यकर्म स्वभावजं परिचर्यात्मकं कर्म शूद्रस्यापि स्वभावजम् कृषि गौरक्ष वाणिज्यं कृषि गौरक्ष वाणिज्यम agriculture, tending cattle, commerce. Svabhavajam, born of nature. Vaishya karma are the duties of a Vaishya. Shudrasya api, of a Shudra also. Paricharya atmakam karma, duty in the form of service. Svabhavajam is born of nature. Krishi Gauraksha Manijyam Svabhavajam Vaishyakarma Shudrasya api Paricharyatmakam Karma Svabhavajam. Agriculture, tending cattle, and commerce are the natural duties of a Vaishya. And the natural duty of a Shudra is in the form of service. I repeat, agriculture, tending cattle, and commerce are the natural duties of a Vaishya. And the natural duty of a Shudra is in the form of service. The duties and disposition of a Vaishya. Krishi, any activity connected to cultivation. Shankara mentions plowing specifically, but includes all agricultural efforts. Then there is Gauraksha, protection of cows. This is a very interesting expression. Instead of saying cow farming, he says cow protection. What is the difference? Cattle farming means raising cattle for slaughter, and before that, subjecting them to cruel conditions to maximize their body weight. That is not the case here. The cattle are protected based on the principle that what is protected protects you in turn. If dharma, for example, is protected, it protects you. Dharmo rakshati rakshitah. Rakshitah. I repeat. Dharmo rakshati
Did write the first line. Dharmo rakshati rakshitah.
Dharmo rakshati rakshitah. Okay. Similarly, if a cow is protected, it protects you. An agriculturalist requires the help of heads of cattle. So their protection is part of his daily chores. Another duty of the Vaishya is commerce. All traders I'm sorry, I will repeat once again. There was a background noise. The duties and disposition of a Vaishya. Krishi is any activity connected to cultivation. Shankara mentions plowing specifically, but it includes all agricultural efforts. Then there is Gauraksha, protection of cows. This is a very interesting expression. Instead of saying cow farming, he says cow protection. What is the difference? Cattle farming means raising cattle for slaughter, and before that, subjecting them to cruel conditions to maximize their body weight. That is not the case here. The cattle are protected based on the principle that what is protected protects you in turn. If dharma, for example, is protected, it protects you. Dharmo rakshati rakshitah. Similarly, if a cow is protected, it protects you. An agriculturalist requires the help of heads of cattle, so their protection is part of his daily chores. Another duty of the Vaishya is commerce. All traders, manufacturers, industrialists, etc., are engaged in Vaishya karma. Again, it is born of guna and therefore is natural, svabhavaja. For a Vaishya, as with the Kshatriya, Rajas is predominant. Here, however, not Sattva, but Tamas is second. Naturally, he is going to be selfish. But if he converts his activities into duties, he can develop more Sattva. I repeat once again the last 2-3 lines. For a Vaishya, as with Kshatriya, Rajas is predominant. Here, however, not sattva, but tamas is second. Naturally, he is going to be selfish, but if he converts his activities into duties, he can develop more sattva. The duties and dispositions of a Shudra. Then we have the Shudra in whom tamas is predominant and rajas is second. His activity consists of any type of services, any type of service, paricharya, which generally involves a lot of running around. Paricharyatmakam karma means activities in the form of serving other people. Every society has this group of people who provide the hands and legs behind all the different functions. But whatever the activity is, it has to be converted into a duty. That is the point here. I repeat once again the duties and disposition of a Shudra. Then we have the Shudra in whom tamas is predominant and rajas is second. His activity consists of any type of service, paricharya, which generally involves a lot of running around. Paricharyatmakam karma means activities in the form of serving other people. Every society has this group of people who provide the hands and legs behind all the different functions. But whatever the activity is, it has to be converted into a duty. That is the point here. The result of performing one's duties well. I just stop the rajas we had done, and now the duties of the Vaishyas or the disposition of Vaishya. They usually have agriculture and commerce, that is the Vanijya, Krishi and Vanijya, with
No,
the
for the
protection
Shudra,
of,
excuse me, for
yeah,
Shudra, actually activity it is also rajas, not how it can be tamas. If he is tamas, he cannot work at all.
No,
yeah,
it's
the
tamas backed by rajas. That is why he's working. It's not tamas backed by tamas. Tamas backed by rajas.
Mhm. Yeah.
Hariom. So serving the people is a Shudra.
yeah, the disposition is
I think
Shudra.
here, yeah, what we should not take the words literally. I think when we read forward, we will understand better. So he is said service doesn't mean any kind of service. All those that require a lot of labor, a lot of hard work, your hands and feet, that is considered paricharyatmaka, cleaning, washing, all of that. The serving people, then you cannot say, oh, so means serving people, any seva is Shudra. No. I think we should understand the implication of the word service here.
Yeah.
And as we read further, I think we'll understand better.
Okay. Okay. But one thing, like he's lending his legs and arms to the service of others. So it can be any type of work. Maybe like as we. I was when reading. I was thinking like we are also Shudras because we are doing work in our home, in our working
Even
place.
a sattvic person has to use his hands and legs only, to do whatever
Yeah.
it is. It is the attitude that matters.
Attitude,
Attitude is
matters.
one. Yeah.
Right.
Attitude is one. And yes, when you are cleaning your bathrooms, you are cleaning your vessels, cleaning the house, you're actually doing the work of a Shudra. You're temporarily a Shudra at that point.
Yeah.
But the same you, when you're learning the Vedas or learning the Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, then you are a Brahmana at that point. So I think it's all about categorizing your karma according the activity. This is all about the fourfold categorization of karma based on duties. This is the classification he's giving. And the way forward is from tamas to rajas to sattva. The ultimate evolution is to sattva, is when you consider any stage you are in, whatever work you're doing, consider that as duty and do it as yoga, then you'll be scaling up to being more and more sattvic. Because the attitude is what is important. You might be a carpenter, you might be a barber, but if your attitude is that of a karma yogi, you're automatically catapulted to being sattvic. So I think the overall picture is what we will need to understand. And it's not like watertight compartments. Because ultimately, sattva, rajas, tamogunas are what we are all made of. It's a play and interplay of these three. What is predominant is what reflects what kind of a person one is at that point of time.
Correct, that's right.
Very right.
Um,
Thank you.
The Rajasic predominant people are more of a Martian quality, with Mars, Mangal dominating in their chart. And they have that valor and leadership mostly. And the Tamasic people would have a Saturn predominant energy, and they will have, if it is backed by Rajas, then they will serve. They will have the attitude of serving people. They will work, but that serving nature would be there. And if you are of that kind, then the Shani Dev will never do any harm to you. With that service bhav to the, people working under you, if you take care of them and all, he will always be pleased with you.
What did you say about the sattvic, this thing, planets?
No, not
Which?
Satvik. I
Actually,
talked about the Martian quality for the Rajasic predominant people. That is a Martian quality with the leadership and all. But the person who with the Tamas predominant but backed by Rajas is Saturn.
like the
Yeah.
governing planet. Okay.
So wonderful.
And
Such a beautiful.
here I want to want little bit more explanation, like some repetitive kind of actions continuously, where you need lot of physical strength, and repetitively you are doing some activity, suppose cutting of the wood or something very repetitive, where lot of physical strength is also needed, not much of the brain, but you are continuously doing the same thing, but you need lot of food also to eat to sustain that kind of activity. That will also be like a, tamas, means raja activity with tamasic attitude. Is it like that? Means Shudra, will it come under the Shudra?
I think so. Basically, they lend their hands and feet. This is, if you look at the whole societal structure, this is the categorization based on the society. So we have the Brahmanas who are Kshanti, Arjavam. They have the Astikya Buddhi. So they are into the study of the scriptures. And then we have the Kshatriyas who are more, they're not self-centered. They have the valor and the courage. And therefore, because they're not self-centered, they kind of protect the whole society with whatever is required. And then you have the Vaishyas who take care of, who have Rajas predominant backed by Tamas. So that is why you have the business people. They, of course, look at their profit. They don't do it without their profit. So they take care of the the farming, the commerce. But then if they do their job as a duty with the attitude of karma yoga, then they can scale up to becoming more sattvic. They become sattvic Vaishyas. They will continue to do their duty because that is what they are there to do. And then you have the Sudras, Shudras, which are who do a lot of menial jobs. Like you rightly pointed out, doesn't require any brain power there. It is to be done. It's something like cutting wood. It's like, mending shoes, cleaning, all of that. That becomes it is tamas backed by rajas. It is not tamas alone. Otherwise, they will not even be able to do anything. But it is tamas backed by rajas. So they do it.
Yeah, and they need some skill also, no? It is not that they'll cut the
Right,
wood
right.
just like this. They need some skill there also.
Construction work and all the laborious
Yeah.
work, no, they need enough of food
Little
input
skill,
also.
maybe. I wouldn't say completely no brain power, but brain involved, but not as much as you would need in the first three.
Correct.
Yeah, but there also I have seen so many construction sites in India, especially not here in Gulf. There they sing and dance and do their repeated it. I mean, they are so happy. Some of
Yeah.
them I was fortunate to meet them also. So I was just thinking that although it is repetitive task, but how they are converting it into a joy. That
What
is
was
what is
Kabir, for instance? Look at
They
the
also
examples we have.
enlightenment.
Yeah, so of course they have. Nobody, it is a birthright of everybody. Because you are Shudra doesn't mean you cannot get enlightened. We have so many examples in the past in the history where even China had mentioned there was a tea stall, a person who was manning a tea stall. He's a Vaishya. He got enlightened. So this is only, that is why, see, I think we have been, either we have interpreted it wrongly, or maybe the education system backed by the West and whoever wanted to create confusion in the minds has given us this thing that, oh, he is Shudra, he is Kshatriya. It's actually the attitude. Attitude,
Yes.
number one, and to run the society in a harmonious way. Everybody cannot be doing only one thing. Then who will be there to? That is why when Buddha came, he was putting everybody into meditation and saying, don't have desires and all. Shankara had to step in. He stepped in to revive Sanatana Dharma, which this part, this categorization of who has to do what is part of society. You can't have everybody closing their eyes and meditating. Who will give you food to eat? Who will keep the house clean? So he had to redirect the whole society, the whole of India at that point, and then revive the Sanatana Dharma. So I think this is more out of our understanding, and not they're not watertight compartments.
Correct.
Depends.
And here it is not talked about their intelligence. It is talked about their predominant guna. And accordingly, they will do the work. They might be intelligent people doing different kinds of work. But here, I don't think intelligence is talked about. It's only the predominant guna which will make you do that kind of work, kind of aptitude. But each one might be having different levels of intelligence. Here, intelligence is not talked about. It's just the guna we are talking about.
Very nice. That's why that Man changa to kathrot mein Ganga. That cobbler also, Ma Ganga had to come into his that water, no, where he was washing in the leather thing. In that also, Ma Ganga appeared and gave him the bracelet to prove that It is because his mind was so clear, Antakarana. Although being cobbler, he was doing all the jobs which Shudras do, but still for him, Ma Ganga had come. I think that story was told by. So it is how we want the attitude with which we perform our duty. I think that will be
Yeah,
talked in
even
the.
Maharani Mirabai, no, her guru was Sant Raidas. He was also a
Correct.
cobbler. He was a cobbler actually. He used to uh, do the animal skin ka sab work he used to do. But he was the guru of Maharani Mirabai of Mewad. So, everybody can get enlightenment. It has nothing to do with the kind of work you are doing.
Very true. Okay. I'll just read ahead. And in 5-10 minutes, I request Mrinalji to take over, please. I hope Mrinalji can take over in few minutes. Okay. Or someone else, if anyone can help. The result of performing one's
Yes,
duty.
I'm there.
Yeah. Dhanyavad, Mrinalji. Dhanyavad, dear. The result of performing one's duties well. Shankara says that those who perform well the duties enjoined for their class naturally gain heaven as the result. And he quotes the following from the Apastamba Smriti. Kindly correct me because there is transliteration. Apastamba Smriti. Those who are committed to following their own duties according to caste and stage of life, experiencing the result after death because of the remaining punya, gain a birth that is better in terms of place, caste, family, duty, longevity, learning, profession, wealth, happiness, and intelligence. वर्णाः आश्रमाः च स्वकर्मनिष्ठाः प्रेत्य कर्मफलम् अनुभूय ततः शेषेण विशिष्टा देशा जाति कुल धर्म आयुः धर्मायुः श्रुत
Ayuhu.
वृत् आयुः श्रुत वृत्त वित्ता सुखा मेधासः जन्म प्रतिपाद्यन्ते Pratipadyante. Brahmaraji, could you please read once? I think there are a lot of mistakes in that transliteration I made while reading.
Oh, you
Var-
read well, Bila. That is
for-
fine.
yeah, okay, then. There is no functional system of Varnashrama today, either in India or the West. We just have to understand the people discussed here as those who are committed to doing the duties expected of them after death, because they have been following what is enjoined, they experience the result of their life of duty, which is heaven. When that is over, they still have some leftover punya karma because everything cannot be enjoined in heaven. And due to one's remaining merit, one is born in a better place, either a better country or within a country, a better area where there is more culture. Even if the place is all right, intrinsically, he should not be born during a depression or a war, which are not helpful if a person has to grow spiritually. So, the time in which he is born in a given place is also important. Then he should be born in a class and a family where there is more culture, more appreciation of spiritual knowledge, and better parental guidance. And he should be disposed to a life that is more in conformity to Dharma. This birth will also have better longevity, better opportunities for learning, a better profession, and more economic freedom. Naturally, when all these things are there, he is going to be happier. Besides all this, he will have better intelligence, better capacity to grasp and retain. Thus, the Smritis and Puranas tell of the particular different results in terms of loka gained by those who follow the dharma of the fourfold varnas and ashramas. There is a footnote. That is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, and the ashramas are Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa. So, based on the Varna and ashramas. I repeat the last line once again. Naturally, when all these things are there, he is going to be happier. Besides all this, he will have better intelligence, better capacity to grasp and retain. Thus, the Smritis and Puranas tell of the particular different results in terms of loka gained by those who follow the dharma of the fourfold varnas and ashramas. There are different and particular results according to each one's conformity to the enjoined duties. These duties are mentioned not just for showing how one can get to heaven. There is another reason for it. They can be done differently, and because of that, there will be different results. The same karma can be converted into yoga if it is not done for a better birth or going to heaven or for giving anything that is to be enjoyed later, but for what I will get out of it now in this life. That is what he is going to talk about now. Rinalji, would you mind taking over, please?
Sure.
We can just have Manana of the result of performing one's duties well.
Want to do Manana on this, or you want the reread for this?
Yeah, you can do that also, Mrinalji, if you, yeah.
The result of performing one's duties well. Shankara says that those who perform well the duties enjoined for their class naturally gain heaven as the result. And he quotes the following from the Apastambha Smriti. Those who are committed to following
Apastamba Smriti.
Apastambha Smriti. Those who are committed to following their own duties according to caste and stage of life, experiencing the result after the death because of remaining punya, gain a birth that is better in terms of place, caste, family, duty, longevity, learning, profession, wealth, happiness, and intelligence. Varnaha, ashramaha, cha स्वकर्म निष्ठाः प्रेत्य कर्मफलम् अनुभूय ततः
शेषेण विशिष्ट देश जाति कुल धर्म आयुः श्रुता वृता वित्ता सुखा मेधाशाः जन्म प्रतिपद्यन्ते. There is no functional system of Varnashrama today, either in India or the West. We just have to understand the people discussed here as those who are committed to doing the duties expected of them. After death, because they have been following what is enjoined, they experience the result of their life of duty, which is heaven. When that is over, they still have some leftover punya karma because everything cannot be enjoyed in heaven. When that is over, they still have some leftover punya karma because everything cannot be enjoyed in heaven. And due to one's remaining merit, one is born in a better place, either a better country or within a country, a better area where there is more culture. Even if the place is all right intrinsically, he should not be born during a depression or a war, which are not helpful if a person has to grow spiritually. So, the time the time in which he is born in a given place is also important. Then he should be born in a class and a family where there is more culture, more appreciation of spiritual knowledge, and better parental guidance. And he should be disposed toward life that is more in conformity to Dharma. This birth will also have better longevity, better opportunities for learning, a better profession, and more economic freedom. Naturally, when all these things are there, he is going to be happier. Besides all this, he will have better intelligence, better capacity to grasp and retain. Thus, the Smritis and Puranas tell of a particular different results in terms of loka gained by those who follow the dharma of the fourfold varnas and ashramas. There are different and particular results according to each one's conformity to the enjoined duties. These duties are mentioned not just for showing how one can get to heaven. There is a reason for it. They can be done differently, and because of that, there will be different results. The same karma can be converted into yoga if it is not done for a better birth or going to heaven or for giving anything that is to be enjoyed later. the same the same karma can be converted into yoga if it is not done for better birth or going to heaven or for giving anything that is to be enjoyed later, but for what I will get out of it now in this life. That is what is going to be talked about now. Does anyone want to say something, or I can read the next shloka?
Again, with what attitude one does these duties is going to direct the future. If he's doing his duties for gaining a better life, a better birth, that is exactly what he will get. He will evolve. Next time, he will be born in a better place, with in a family with culture, where the situation is conducive for him to scale up and grow up, more intelligence, there's more wealth, in a place that is bereft of war, all of that. So this actually explains why who is born where. There is so much of debate on why should someone be born in Ethiopia, why is not here. So this in one stroke actually it explains why, who, where, when one is born, and how one is born. But is that the only end? In that, you are just going round and round in the samsara, right? But then if you do your whatever you are enjoying to do at that time and place, if you're doing it as a yoga, not keeping heaven in mind, then the direction that will take you is totally different. That is what next to 45, 46 shlokas will explain, I think. Yatah pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam swakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati mana. So wherever you are, whether you're in a Shudra, Kshatriya or a Vaishya, or you're a Brahmana, wherever you are, you do your swakarma as a worship to the Lord, like, which means doing your work as a karma yogi. That will lead you to siddhi. Siddhi is liberation or moksha. So ultimately, it boils down to the mental attitude again. I was, yesterday after dinner, I was washing the vessels and I was thinking, oh, I have to do it. Little thought came, maybe I'll do it tomorrow. But then I said, no, the commitment is to wash and keep the kitchen clean before going to bed. And then I said, no, let me do it as it was a duty. There was no raga dvesha. I was able, it was like the raga is to, dvesha was there. In the sense, subtle dvesha is, I don't want to do it now. I want to do it later. I want to do something else. I want to leave and go. But taking it as a duty will will help us get rid of the raga dvesha. So that is put in the backdrop. You do it as a duty. Now, even doing it as a duty, the attitude is, oh, I'm just doing it because it's my duty, I'll do it. But converting that duty into a worship, it's even better. You can be doing your duty throughout, but if your attitude is tilted towards, I'm doing it for Ishvara, or that with that attitude of a karma yogi, that is even more cleansing. It cleanses the antakarana more and more. And like we talked of Satvika Sukha, initially it is a little painful, but the end, Parinama, is Amrita. So in the morning today, when I went to the kitchen, it found the sink and all clean, neat. The joy that it gives you, rather than having the sink full of vessels, makes a big difference. It's a small example I wanted to share.
Can I read the next shloka, or you want to do?
Yes, I think you can read the next shloka.
Okay. स्वे स्वे कर्मण्यभिरतः संसिद्धिं लभते नरः.
Not 1 minute. Sve sve karmanya bhirataha. It's a small key. It's not dirgha.
Sve sve.
Yeah. No. Sve sve karmanya bhirataha. It's not sve sve karmanya bhirataha.
Okay. Swe
You just have to be a
karma.
little watchful of
Yes,
the
yes,
Rasva and Dirga,
yes.
because the word can change. In Sanskrit, the
Correct,
words can change their meaning
correct.
completely.
स्वे स्वे कर्मण्यभिरतः संसिद्धिं लभते नरः स्वकर्मनिरतः सिद्धिं यथा विन्दति तशृणु. Now I'm little cautious with, otherwise it
Correct.
doesn't occur. Swe swe karmani, in his own duty. Abhiratah, who is totally involved. Naraha, the person. Samsiddhim, success. Labhate, gains. Swakarma nirataha, the one who is devoted to his own duty. Yatha, how. Siddhim, success. Vindati, finds. Tata, that. Shunu, listen. स्वे स्वे कर्मणि अभिरतः नरः संसिद्धिं लभते स्वकर्मनिरतः यथा सिद्धिं विन्दति ततः शृणु. A man who delights in his own duty gains success. Listen to how one devoted to his own duty finds success. A man who delights in his own duty gains success. Listen to how one devoted to his own duty finds success. Commitment to one's own duty leads to success. This is all part of Karma Yoga. Shankara talks Abhirati as commitment. Swe swe karmati abhiratah is a person who is totally involved in his own duties with commitment and enjoyment. Here is a person who is committed to doing his own duty and enjoys doing it. Not only does he experience the satisfaction that comes from doing what he is supposed to do, he is really happy in what he does and doesn't want to do somebody else's job. Naturally, he gains some siddhi, success, which is antakarna shuddhi here. It cannot be moksha because karma is involved, and only the one who gains knowledge of Atma gains moksha. I think somebody is unmuted. Can you please kindly
I muted them. I muted
Okay.
them.
Awesome. Commitment to one's own duty leads to success. This is all part of Karma Yoga. Shankara talks Abhirati as commitment. Swe swe karmani abhiratah is a person who is totally involved in his own duties with commitment and enjoyment. Here is a person who is committed to doing his own duty and enjoys doing it. Not only does he experience the satisfaction that comes from doing what he is supposed to do, he is really happy in what he does and doesn't want to do somebody else's job. Naturally, he gains some siddhi, success, which is antakarna shuddhi here. It cannot be moksha because karma is involved, and only the one who gains knowledge of Atma gains moksha. What is success for a human being? First, it is to be a mature individual. Just imagine a 45-year-old crying because his or her balloon burst. What will you think of this person? It looks ridiculous. But all of us have this kind of a child in us. I chose a balloon so that you can see what it is to be an adult. But we all have things that are equivalent to a balloon. The one who is mature sees all karma as the same. He doesn't think that some other job is better than the one he is doing, because any karma compromises the three gunas, trigunatmika, and therefore is potentially binding. Finally speaking, any occupation.
Sorry, Mrinal. Is it compromises or comprises?
Sorry. Comprises.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
thank you.
One he is doing, because any karma comprises the three gunas, trigunatmika, and therefore is potentially binding. Finally speaking, any occupation, whether it is that of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra, will have a result that has to be experienced. There is no way of escaping from this natural defect of karma, and no change of karma can bring about necessary change in your heart. This again. What is success for a human being? First, it is to be a mature individual. Just imagine a 45-year-old crying because his or her balloon bursts. What will you think of this person? It looks ridiculous. But all of us have this kind of a child in us. I chose a balloon so that you can see what it is to be an adult. But we all have things that are equivalent to a balloon. The one who is mature sees all karma as the same. He doesn't think that some other job is better than the one he is doing, because any karma comprises the three gunas, trigunatmika, and therefore is potentially binding. Finally speaking, any occupation, whether it is that of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra, will have a result that has to be experienced. There is no way of escaping from this natural defect of karma, and no change of karma can bring about the necessary change in your heart. We have few minutes for Manana if someone wants to do Manana.
Can you just read the last 2-3 sentences?
Last one, for me also. That change of heart, what is that? I could not understand.
Read the paragraph again if you want. Oh, the one who is mature sees all karma as the same. He doesn't think that some other job is better than the one he is doing, because any karma comprises the three gunas, trigunatmika, and therefore is potentially binding. Finally speaking, any occupation, whether it is that of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra, will have a result that has to be experienced. That is, every karma will have its karma phala. There is no way of escaping from this natural defect of karma. No change of karma can bring about the necessary change in your heart. For moksha, you need only the knowledge. So, changing your karma according to Brahmana, Kshatriya, and Vaishya will not do any change in your heart. I think this is what is implied here. And karmas, not depending on kind of karma, whether whatever karma you will be doing, there will be a result, karma phala for that. That is a natural defect of karma. So even if you change the karma, you will have karma phala, some kind of karma phala.
change of escaping from the natural defect of karma. No change of karma can bring about the necessary change in your heart. That I did not understand. Okay, whatever it is.
The karmas can bring only here in the first paragraph, he gains some siddhi, success, which is antakarna shuddhi here. It cannot be moksha because karma is inward, and only the one who gains knowledge of Atma gains moksha. This is what has been said in the first paragraph. And the second one, it is there is no way of escaping from this natural defect of karma that is accruing this karma phala. And no change of karma can bring about the necessary change in your heart. Maybe the next paragraphs might explain it better. Maybe we can read this again from tomorrow.
Yeah, just by changing and becoming, going to a different varna or ashrama will not give you some siddhi, will not give you success. So any karma,
Success you might get, it doesn't say success, it says the gain of knowledge, Atma, the moksha. It is talked about moksha, I feel.
correct. The success, siddhim is what is success is moksha, which comes only with knowledge. So by changing, I'll change my karma, you are not going to, because karma is in the samsara cycle. So you whatever you're doing, just by changing what you're doing is not going to help. You have to mature. And when you're doing it as a karma yoga, what happens is only antakarna shuddhi. That is also not. It is ultimately again with knowledge that moksha happens. So what he's saying is there's nothing superior, inferior over here. Everybody is given their karma according to so many factors, prarabdha, whatever you call. All that will determine what karma one is doing right now. The attitude is important, ultimately for antakarna shuddhi. And then beyond that is, that it's not just that, it is knowledge that gives you moksha.
So with commitment, and you have to enjoy doing it. For antakarna shuddhi.
Yes.
And doing somebody else's job is not going to help.
Paradharmo bhayavaha. Right. I think we'll close here today. Om loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om shanti shanti shanti. Om tat sat Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Jai Gurudev.
निरुपमनित्यनिरंशकेऽप्यखण्डे मयि चिति सर्वविकल्पनादिशून्ये घटयति जगदीश जीवभेदं त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया श्रुतिशतनिगमान्तशोधकानपि अहह धनादिनिदर्शनेन सद्यः कलुषयति चतुष्पदाद्यभिन्ना न घटितघटना पडीयसी माया सुखचिदखण्डविबोधमद्वितीयम् वियदनलादिविनिर्मित्ते नियोज्य भ्रमयति भवसागरे नितान्तम् त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया अपगतगुणवर्णजातिभेदे सुखचितिविप्रविडाद्यहङ्कृतिं च स्फुटयति सुतदारकेहमोहम् त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया विधिहरिहरविभेदमप्यखण्डे विरचय्य बुधानपि प्रकामम् भ्रमयति हरिहरविभेदभावान् घटितघटना पटीयसी माया त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया